Hi, and welcome back to the 19th video in our 3D racing game. I'm hoping to knock out our last main feature in this video, and then spend videos 20 and or 21 cleaning up some of our games that aren't parts of our game that aren't as clean as I'd like them to be, including like a little bit of enemy AI and the way our player moves throughout the levels, and just adding some small features. But this video is focusing on collecting cash. So in our race mode, we want to make it so that we have some piles of cash or some icon to represent that around the track for your player to get. And then when they collect them, we'll save that value. They have to win the race to get the money. Then if they've won the race, we'll save that to a total value that will be seen, I think, on our car select screen. I haven't really thought about where I want to put it. And then they can unlock new cars. And then finally, the third track. So we have a lot to do. Let's jump straight into it. To start off, what I want to do is build the collectible itself. So it's a good starting point thinking about where we're going to be heading. In the Unity Asset Store, the Polygon Icons pack was free for a while. They did some free packages. And it's really got a lot of great stuff in it. So I'm going to give you a link to that in the video for you to go open and import, which I've already done. It's called Polygon Icons. Inside of that folder, go to the prefabs, and there are just tons of prefabs to look at. What I'm going to be looking for is, if I type in cash, I think that's what it was. Oops. Maybe money. That's what it was. Yeah, there you go, money. You'll get a bunch of different types of denominations of money, and we're going to be looking for this bronze looking one. The other $2 bills are simply like the mesh and some animation settings. We actually want the entire prefab thing here. So I'm going to take this one and drag it into my scene, which will snap it to 0, 0 in the corner of the screen of the map, which is fine because we're just going to build off of it from here. All right. I want to go ahead and rename this to cash. And I don't like the way it looks. So in my materials folder, I went ahead and built a new material. If you don't remember how to do that, it's the plus symbol here, material, and I called it cash mat. And originally I was going to go with a green, but I started to think about how that might blend in with all the green that we have in this sea. Oh, excuse me. Sorry for that yawn. So I decided on like a yellow sort of look, and I'm just going to drag that onto that. And I can even make it like metallic. But I like the flat yellows. I think it matches the low poly look of this. But you of course can play with some of that if you'd like to. I want to make it like super shiny, right? Like almost like a mirror. You can go with something like that. But I think it just makes it darker. It's hard to see. I like the brighter, nature of it. Okay. So that looks fine. Now let's start thinking through what we want this object itself to do. I'd like for it to like rotate, have some type of animation that's continuously playing, as well as whenever the player collides with it, to trigger another script that will hold our overall, sort of like a cache manager script. So let's start building the script just for this object and the way we want it to behave. So in my scripts folder, I'm going to go create a new C# script called cache collectible. And I apologize for all the squeals you hear. My daughters are supposed to be at nap time right now, but they are instead wrestling. So cache collectible. I like to, I'm going to leave some comments up here at the top. So I'm going to do it as such. Oops, I have to close, then open. Okay. So what I want to do with this one, I want it to rotate every frame. So I'm just going to do it like a spinning $sign there. And I need a on trigger or collision. I like trigger event that will increase a total cash value. So how much money we have. Okay. So that seems pretty straightforward. So I don't think I need my void start. At least right now I don't. I want my update to be the spinning action. So that needs to be a transform dot rotate, and transform dot rotate needs to know the axis by which I'm going to rotate. So I'm going to say vector 3, and I think I do a comma, and then I can say how quickly I want to do it. Oh, vector 3 dot up. Sorry, y-axis. And then I would like to say speed, which is not a number I have right now. I'm going to go up here to the top and make a public float called speed. And it's usually good just to go time dot delta time. So time dot delta time for when working with the transform. That looks pretty straightforward. Has speed currently set to 0. I have to initialize this inside of the inspector, so I'll do that later. Underneath my update, let's build and I saved that really quick. I'm going to go ahead and build a void on. I'm going to go with on trigger enter. And this is looking at the collider itself, the collider. If we only want this to increase our cash value if the player hits it, not just any object. So we need to check for tags. So if other dot game object dot compare tag, if it is the player, then I'm going to put in here another comment, increase the total cash earned how about like current race earnings or cash by 100. And this is going to be on a cash manager script. Because I don't want the actual collectible of money to be in charge of that. Like, because there's going to be multiple of them. And I think also we're going to want the display to change. So let's go ahead and start working on that other cash manager script before we go any further. I'm going to save this. And we're going to just add another manager to the scene, which my managers list are getting pretty long. I don't think my collectibles need to be up here. I'll drag those up above. And this object eventually won't be either, but I'll go over here and create an empty, and I will call this cash manager. Done and done. And I can just add a component here. And I will call this the cash, new script, cash manager, create and add. And now I have a cash manager script, which doesn't have anything on it right now. Now, I don't really normally do that because it doesn't always put it where I want it to go. It kind of sits it out inside the assets folder, so I have to move it later, which isn't a big deal. But sometimes it's nice just to go ahead and know that you have it attached the way you want it to. Open up. There you go. So what do we want the cash manager to do? We want it to be in charge of the total cash currently earned in a race. And then we also wanted to display that cash value. And then when the race is finished, we want the race finish manager to come over here and save that total value. So that'll be another script that's handling that. So this one should be, I think, fairly straightforward. So we need to have what is our current cash value sort of number. So I want to create a public int called current cash value. And I also want a public static integer called total cash. So what total cash is going to do is that's the number we will eventually save on our player preferences at the end of our race. And then we'll have do I like that? Do I like total? I'm trying to think of the name total cash. Do I like that? Current cash, and then maybe like race earnings. Maybe that's a better one, because there's 3 levels of this. There is when I collect the cash, what is the current value of what I have? And then when I'm done with a race, if I've won the race, that needs to save my race earnings to another number, which is the total cash I've earned across the entire gameplay. So I think I like race earnings as a better name, because I don't want to confuse myself. And if I want to display that cash value, I know I'm going to need to use TextMesh Pro. And I'm going to build a public text mesh pro UGUI called cash display. All right, anything I want to do in the start? I don't think I need to get anything in the start. I'm going to delete all of that. And in the update, guys, I apologize, they are getting wild. I'm going to set current cash value equal to race earnings here. And I want to update, make sure that my cash display every frame dot text is equal to race earnings up to that point dot, let's send that to string. Open, close an argument there. Is that everything I need? I think so. So I just need to pass from my cash collectibles script here a reference to my my cash manager script. So let's just say cash manager. And this is why I made race earnings a public static int, so I can just directly reference that. Race earnings plus equal. I need to have a number for, I'm going to put 100 here, like $100 every time, but I need to hold that up here. So public integer cash to add. So how much cash to add every time to add, and that's going to be initialized here. I'm just going to start off at $100 essentially. So every time we have an untriggered error event, it should add $100 to our race earnings at that point, and then it'll display that onto the screen. So let's maybe test this out. So we have to do a few more steps here, though. is on our cache manager. Since we have a the cache manager, we need to build a canvas, and we want to on the cache object make it on trigger enter event. So let's add a component on the cache collectible called a box collider, and it should automatically sort of snap to a good size here. Let's set that to an on trigger event. We could have done this from our player, but I like separating that out a little bit, not have everything dependent on the player. I'm going to take this cache object and just move it onto my player, and then reset all of this so that it goes to where my player is, and then take it out of my player's car, and then move it. Let's see how big this is. Oh, this is very small compared to the player. Like, you can't see that. So I'm going to take cache. I'm going to scale it up. What do you say, like 4? That seems reasonable. Yeah, this seems pretty good. And I did not apply that cache collectible script to it, so I need to do that. The speed was for rotation speed. I wish I had changed that variable name to be a little more concise. So let's change the rotation speed to something like, I don't know. I did time.delta time, so. Did I do? Yeah, I think I did. I'll try something like 100. That's okay now. What else do I need to do? I need to build out in the canvas. And this is going to be in race mode. So, yeah. So race, timer panel, race panel. There's a child of race panel. I think I'm going to put it under my lap 02, right? So what is that? No, the lap panel is on both of them, so I need to just build it into my best time right here below this. Or can I put it above my enemy laps? I have some options here. Yeah, I might just build it in as a part of my enemy lap counter down here, and then cached earned or something right above it. You know what I might even do is just duplicate this. Command D. Move this up. You at this point, you guys know how to do this kind of stuff, so you don't really need me for this part. Even better, yeah, I'm just going to delete that. Take these out. Make the panel itself bigger. Can I do that at this point? Oh, I can't because I prefabbed it. Ugh. Yeah, okay. I mean, I could break it apart, but let's just go simple. You have an idea of how to fix this part here if you wanted to. And I'm just going to go change my text to something a lot smaller. So I'll change this to cache panel. That's how you spell panel. Laps completed. Doesn't matter. We don't need... That's just a hard... this is the text. This is like cache. And see, laps required. Doesn't matter for us. We actually don't need that. That can just be like a dollar sign like that. And I can move this over. So I'll just call this. I could just do that inside of the string itself, but this will look fine. Now, can I break this apart now that it's a separate entity? What I could do, just out of curiosity. They probably should just prefab this into something, its own thing now. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna go to prefabs. I'm gonna take my cache panel here and drag that in. Original prefab. And then I'm gonna adjust for that. So when I come back in here, probably. No overrides. Because this is not. Let me delete this one and drag this one back in. I feel like it's acting like kind of weird. There it is. There we go. That's kind of what I was wanting it to be like. It's just smaller and more condensed. Okay. So I can take this, move this back over, so it fits there. And then move the $sign over. Somewhere like that. And then change this lapse completed to just cache. So now we have that text object. So this is the thing I want to pass through to cache manager is this right here. Okay. So save this, and I do need it to, I need to be in race mode. So I need to go from the scene above. I think that's everything. Let's test it out. So track select, press play, and my goal is to be hitting race mode. I want to make sure that I hit this, and it did. It hit multiple times. I think it hit 3 times. I'm going to pause it here. Look at my cache manager, and yeah, current cache value is $300. So it hit multiple times inside of that, but it did work, which is relevant for us. And I now know, of course, like that my text object is not big enough. So I'm going to come back into here, go to canvas, timer panel, race panel, cache panel, and that cache, I might need to make this a little bit longer here to accommodate that. And that should be good. If I put it this way. Just a bit larger, like right here. All right, I think that'll take care of that problem. So let's go back to our cache object, and we want to make it so that it gets destroyed. We also just should set our at the beginning of the game. We should see right now. Set our, what does our cache manager say? Current cache value set to 0. Yeah, I gotta think on that some. All right, let's just open up this cache script and fix the problem of it doing more than once. So on trigger enter, then it needs to add that, and then we need it to destroy itself. Destroy game object. I think that's fine. And total cache versus. Yeah, I think that'll be okay. Let's try it one more time. Or we can have, will that be fast enough? we'll see. Scenes. Track select. Press play. Autumn Valley race. We got some money spinning. I don't know. I just have no idea what just happened. My hand slipped on the car. There you go. So we got $100 here. And I'm going to pause. So that works fine. So what is our next big step? I think it's going to be, let me get out of play mode here. I think it's going to be making it so, well, one, let's make it so that if we're in score mode, if we're in score mode, that this doesn't turn on. So this will be another condition on our score mode script. So let's go back to track 01. And I know that this feels like it's pretty good. Actually, the only thing I want to add to this cache thing is back in Streetcar Racer, we did have some prefabbed FX stuff going on. I don't know. I can't remember. Maybe like Impact Sparks. What did that look like? Let me double click on it to find it. All right, there you go. Let's try it again. That's okay. Directional arrows, engine smoke, pick up. What is this? Yeah, I like that impact spark thing. So, I was thinking about also like playing a sound or so, but this is pretty easy, right? I'm going to make it so that on this cache object, I'm going to make a child of this impact sparks. What does it look like in the scene? Yeah, that looks good. If I destroy, will I have a chance to play it? Probably not. We might have to wait a second or so. We do want to play a sound though. So here's what my thought process is. Instead of destroying the game object immediately, we can do a start coroutine to destroy it, but we can turn off its collider. So to give it time to play a quick sound and do that effect. So my thought process is to play particle effect here. And we did this last year, so nothing here is going to be particularly new to you. Play pickup sound. Oh my gosh. And what is going on with my spelling? And then finally, start coroutine to destroy, as well as turning off its collider so it doesn't do that again. So to turn off its collider, we can just say up here we can call for box collider. So private box collider cache collider, and here cache collider equals get component its own box collider cache collider dot set. Oh, so not set active, but dot enabled equals false. So it should turn off its own collider. Then playing the particle effect, we would just need to reference its own particle that will be attached to it. Particle system dot spark particle, and that's just a play dot play, and then a pickup sound. We need an audio source, public, and we will call that cache audio. And on cache audio, we'll just put a clip in there. So cache audio dot play one shot, and the thing we're going to play is the audio clip. So public audio clip. Do we want to play this off of the player's audio source? No, we'll just have it played off its own audio clip. Collect cache clip. A lot of C's in there. And we need to choose the volume, which is going to be at 100%, like that. And then a coroutine to destroy. So down here below, I'm just going to build a IE numerator called destroy cache collectible, and that needs a yield, a new return. No, I do that all the time. Return new, wait for seconds, and what do you think, like half a second to do all that? Let's just do 1 second, 1F. And then do our destroy game object. This looks okay to me. I don't see any issues here other than me having to set all this up. So let's go back really quickly. And on the cache object itself, the spark particle is its own spark particle. The audio source, we need to add a component called audio source. And drag it into here. And then an audio clip. We just need to drag a clip into here from here. We have audio effects. Oh, you know what? In audio, I had the music folder, win, lose, jingles. I don't know. Find something real quick. Oh, that's really loud. Sorry for that. Turn that down for you. See if we can find a quick sound. I have much better ones inside the Unity Asset Store. That sounds okay, right? I like this one more. All right. So you can try something different if you'd like to. Put this here. All right, I think that's fine. So what I should do is take this cache object and prefab it. It's going to be an original prefab. Then save that. I'm going to add a new empty called cache collectibles. And I'm going to drag it up here underneath collectibles. And take my first one and just drag it inside of here. And from this point, I would just put out a whole series of these around the track. Let me just put like a couple more. So I'm gonna hit Command D, just drag a few more out. I would say maybe per race. This comes down to economies of scale, which is like how much money you want them to be able to earn during a race. I would maybe put some, maybe 5 out or something. They can earn like $500 per race. I'm just sort of randomly dragging a bunch of them out here. And once I kind of get them there, I'm going to quickly, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe put one more right here on the other side of this track. And let me go through and just kind of look and see if they look relatively well positioned. That looks fine. I was thinking about doing a quick script to have them randomly spawn in a area within this space, like choose between X, Y, Z within it's where I placed it. We can do that quite easily, but I don't think I want to include that in this video for the sake of time. So Cache Collectibles is here. So one of the other things we need to do is make sure that this turns on and off based on what score mode or what game mode we're in, which unfortunately I named that script score mode, which was not good. So score mode, here we go. So if we choose score mode selected 2, then I want to say we need to build I think up here at the top, public game object cache collectibles, and then cache collectibles down here dot set active is going to be true. And on our score mode, mode manager, we need to cache collectibles here. It needs to go into that slot. Okay. So we have it turning on and off based on if you chose the correct one, and we have another effect with it. So another thing I want to do is, I guess I should just go ahead and test this out. If it turns on and off based on the right scene. So scenes, track select, press play. There you go, that one's on, and let's see if this works the way I want it to. Boom. Even though it's still floating there, the collider did turn off because I need to trigger it more than once. Let's see if I have another cache one up here, which means that the collectibles object itself is working fine. There you go. And the audio is off. You know what? Let me shift Command P. Let me unmute my audio. Sorry if it's a little loud. Let me turn it down before I do that. Press play. Oh, dang it. Press play when I'm supposed to unpause. But, I'm very confident that it is playing because I don't think I saw any errors inside the console. No, that looks good. Before I get too far, I just realized something, though. I need to call... back in my cache collectible script, I made this enumerator called destroy cache collectible. I never called it though. So on this trigger enter event, I'm going to start coroutine, and it wants to know the name, which was destroy cache collectible. I think it has an argument here, and at the end, semicolon. Awesome. So save that, and we should test this out by going back one scene. So I'm back on track select, going to Autumn Valley, race mode. I do see, and was it destroyed? Let me pause that really quick and see if I can find inside of my cache collectibles. Yeah, the original one is destroyed. But I got the sound, I got the effect. Let's keep playing and see if I can collect. And I only got $100, which is exactly what I want. Let's keep playing. There you go. Great. That 1 second might even be a little too long of a period. I might try something like 0.5 seconds, half a second. I think that should be okay. I'll say that. You might have to play with this number. I don't like it still being on the screen so long after the fact. That should play out. So guys, this is where everything gets a little bit trickier. This is where we're starting to save the cash amount when you're done with a race to like a global amount, and then being able to call that on a couple of different scenes. So we only want to save how much cash that we've earned after we've won the race. And if we lose the race, that doesn't matter to us. It'll reset the level and that number should be 0. So actually on our start, on our cash manager, should we be setting this to 0? I think so. Void start. And we should say here race earnings should be equal to 0. Because at this point you've not earned anything. So if you restart the level, it should reset this back to 0. That makes sense to me. So I also want to make so we have a current cash values, which is just sort of a check, a layer of protection for how much we have. And then we have a race earnings, which gets increased every time we collect money. And finally, I'm also going to hold a public static int known as total cash earned. And this will be the one for like the entire game, just outside of this. So this cash manager needs to be in every level that we want to reference it. And total cash is just how much we've earned no matter what the race is. So when we win the race, so that's going to be on our, go back to our scripts. Our race finish right here. This is on awake. If the race is finished, do all of these things. But if the race is won, we specifically want to pass through to taking our cash manager and then saving this new value that we haven't used yet, called total cash earned. So, total cash earned. How do I do that? What do I want to do here? Yeah, I think here total cash earned should increase off of a one race. And I apologize, I'm thinking through this as I'm working on it with you again. So here let's reference our cash manager dot total cash earned should be plus equals our cash manager dot race earnings. So when you win the race, cash total earned will increase based on your race earnings. That makes sense. And now we want to save this outside. So we want to do a player's prefs. And we want that, so we need to come up with a few things for this. We need to first decide what we're saving. So it's going to be a set integer. Open it up. We need to come up with a string name for it. So I'm going to say this is cash earned, or how about this, total cash. And then after the comma, the part of the argument is what is it that we are saving, and that will be from our cash manager script, the dot total cash earned. So that will save the amount that we have here whenever we win the race. So that's really that part. The hard part now is like making it so that that number allows us to activate different things. I think in our start, back over here on our cash manager, did I accidentally close it? I think I did. So go back to the cash manager. Here, I want to say that our total cash earns, this will be able to find it, is equal to player prefs. Right? Is that what I want to do? Yeah. Dot get the integer known as, I think I was going to call it total. I should always check. I forget stuff all the time. It was on our race finish script. Total cash, no space, capital C. So that way it will automatically set that value. And that way our race earnings, so that total cash earned will pull it in from what it currently has. And then when you win the race again, it'll add the race earnings again back to this. So it keeps adding on to what we already have and is getting that number. So I guess we should test this out by adding UI onto our track select screen. We should build something here to say how much money we've earned. Something like available cash or something. So I'm going to go to my canvas here. And the child of it. Trying to think of how I want to do this. I might put it below. As a child of the canvas, I will just create a new button, I think. UI, button. No, wait, button. What am I doing? That's crazy. That's crazy talk. Delete that. I'm going to be adding a third track button here by the end of this video for us to test unlocking stuff, and I was thinking about that. So canvas, control. We just want to create UI text mesh pro. And I'm going to move. I guess I should just set it down here using the rectangle transform. Holding option. Get here. I'm going to put mine at the bottom. I like that idea. And my night depot doesn't look. It's like even in the center, does it? So I might just make this match. I should also just change my font to match that. And I will probably just, hopefully get away with having font that is not perfectly in the center. So like that looks a little bit better relative to the night depot thing. I'm going to have this say cash available. Or bank or something. I don't know. I get wordy. How do I just say earnings? Ooh, it doesn't let me use semicolon here. Okay. And I might want to make this a little bit smaller. Move that down some. And over, because I'm going to have another text object here. Called, let me change the name of this text object to earnings. And I'll make another Actually, I'll just duplicate this one. Yeah, duplicate it. And I will call this one earning amount. And just change the value here to 0. And I could just put at the end of the phrase earnings here a space and a $sign. A little janky, but that'll be fine. And then I need to make this. That looks really big relative to the number 0, but I might bring it in just a little bit and put it over here so that if the number gets larger, I don't like that. It's just that $sign there. We'll change that. You can play with how you want that to come across. I probably will just put this all inside of a child of the canvas, a empty, and call it earnings panel. Dragging in earnings and earnings amount as a child of it, just so I can kind of keep it nice and neat. So I want to, on this screen, on the track select screen, we have a scene manager and a mode manager. I want it to display this. So maybe in our scene manager, maybe I can, it's not doing a whole lot. On track select, I could just do it here and have it on this scene display. Yeah, I'm not going to do it on this script. I think I need to make a new script. I'll go create an empty, and I will call no. Yeah. Let me not do that. Control delete. Sorry guys. What I think instead I'm going to do is I think I prefabbed this cache panel, but not the cache manager. Yeah, okay, sorry. All right, I'll call it cache display. And this is just going to be a script, a very simple script to put that amount on the UI. So I'm going to call it cache display here. Yeah, we could have done my cache. Problem. Okay, here's my issue: is I don't want cache manager. I could be doing it through here. But this cache display here is doing it for the current scene that we're in, and we want it, this one to do a different for a different amount for the total cache earned. So here it'll be using Text Mesh Pro. And we'll basically just be in the update. It's going to look to the cache manager dot total cache earned. It's going to be displayed off of a public Text Mesh Pro UGUI display cache. So display cache dot text, just dot text is equal to can I just dot to string like this? And at the very beginning, I want the $ bill, like the dollar bill. And leave a space plus that. Gosh, I hope this works. So save that. I'm going to add that script to cache display. Because I really want this only on this scene and probably on the car scene, since those are the only ones that we need to see our total amount. So cache display here. Oops, I put cache collectible on accident. Remove that component. There you go. And drag in this earnings amount panel here. So I think I just need to go win a race really quick. And so I can save that player's preferences and then come back and see if this works. So I'll see you as soon as I'm done with doing that. It's a little bit more complicated than I was imagining it was going to be. Is that when two things? One's very simple. If I go back into my prefabs, that cache thing I've created, it has as a child of it. Let me open up this prefab. The sparks effect. The spark effect has a play on awake. We got to remove that. It's happening as soon as the game starts. But I guess more. Like a bigger issue is that when you get around the track once, you've already hit all of the money signs, right? So there's no reason to get them on a second go. And I thought we would be, and I figured I think we can do this really quickly. Is to make another set of these cache collectibles, but they only show up on the second track. So before I go too far into testing, I really want to kind of build that in really quickly. I hope I'm not adding too many features all of a sudden, but I think it's on our lap complete script here. So add one to our completed laps. On trigger enter. I think I can check here. I think we should also just say if I'm going to build in right here another if statement here. If completed laps is equal to 2, then we're going to set another set of these objects active. So I'm going to build this really quick. Public game object. I'm just placing it here. Cache collectibles 2. Cache collectibles 2 dot set active is true. So it'll be turned off automatically, but on our second lap we will turn it on. So really quickly, let's go build that into our game environment. So scenes, track 2, track 01, and I'm just going to simply take my cache collectibles object for now, and I would move these around but for the sake of just kind of going quickly through this, I'm going to Command D that. It's associated at the bottom. I'll call it Cache Collectibles 2. Ooh, the only problem with that is if I don't collect something on the first go, they'll both be in the same place. So really quickly, let me move through. Get out of 2D. Where's the first one? See, they're in the same spot. I'm just going to move them out of each other's way. So they're not exactly in the same place. Let's fix that first. I was hoping to make this really quick. But they'll be roughly in the same spot. So that's 1, 2, 3. Four. All right, save that, take Cache Collectibles, turn it off, and now on my lap, is it my Start Manager who has that script? Nope. Lap Time Manager? Nope. Always forget which one has it. Not the Finish Race Manager. Well, remember, the easiest way to find something if you can't remember what it is to go to the scripts itself. Lap Complete Script. Starting trigger. I know it's the starting trigger. I already knew it before I figured it out. But anyways, you could always Control right click on a script and then find references and scene, and it'll pull up whatever has that script on it. Anyways, starting trigger. It needs to know Cache Collectibles 2. Dragged it in. Okay. Save this. Go back one scene. And try this again. My my enemy car. Oh, track select. My enemy car actually does really good against me. It's pretty good. I don't know why mine's doing so well, but like it's just pretty good at driving, or I'm just terrible at it. So, all right, I'm going to test this really quick, and I will see you as soon as I'm done. Didn't see my earnings once I go back to track select. Okay, let's debug this. Race finish. I want to debug.log. Get int. I think I can do it that way. Or you know what? Yeah, I want to see if it saves the actual player preferences. Ugh. Do I want to race all the way around again? Sure. All right, I will come back. You know, before I do that, though, I did go ahead and on my lab complete script. Wherever that is over here. Okay. I did change this from complete laps equals 1. I don't know why I went with 2, but I fixed that. Okay. I will race again, and then I will catch you as soon as I get finished with that. Okay. So I made it around the track once, and it told me that I lost the game. And so I went back and looked. And I realized that if completed laps equals required laps, I had race finish being 1 is true after setting the race manager active, which means it turns on and then it thinks I've lost the race. So I did this here. So I went back around again, and after that I realized that it did debug for me $900, but I don't actually have a race 1 panel that will take us back to like the track select. So let's fix that. We're at the point of the game process where a bunch of small things are going to start, piling up on us. So we should just be intentional here to fix some of this stuff. So I'm going to go back to my scenes, track 01. And I guess I need to, if race is 1 is true, Let's look at this canvas really quick. We have a erased loss panel with a restart main menu, all of that stuff. But I think I can just duplicate this and call it race 1. Yeah, we didn't do this. I'm just overlooking some of this stuff, and I apologize. It's very frustrating. So race 1, I'm just going to drag it up above here. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter. It won't let me do it, but that's okay too. Race 1, we have a restart. You know what I don't want to do? I don't want to go to the main car select screen. Set up on the game manager script. Yeah, let's go to the car select screen instead. That makes more sense than going all the way to the top. So change that text from main menu to car select. And same thing with this one. From track select to car select. And changing the text to say car select, like that. All right, so races 1 is now, I think, that we have. I'm gonna turn it off. And we had let's look at our, I guess, was it our race finish script? I think it is. If races 1 do these things. Oh, yeah, for sure. So we need to now just call a race public game object race 1 UI and do that right here inside of if races 1 dot set active. Oh, race 1 UI. Good old set active. There we go. All right, but I did see on my debug, so that should take care of that. Now, remember, everything we're doing here, we have to do on our night track as well. So we'll do that towards the end of this video. So set active is true. I did get the debug that I was looking for here. I need to initialize that, by the way. On our starting, where's race finish race manager, race 1 UI needs to go into that slot there. Okay, so that is fixed. Now, like I said, I had on the console, I did get $900 by the time I made it around twice. So I think what should be happening now, if I go back to my track select scene, just going to scenes. If I press play, is it going to show me that value of $900? All right. Console, no debugs. So what is going on here? Okay, because cache display is supposed to cache display. Well, then let's, instead of this total cash earned, something weird's happening here. Let's try, just for fun, player prefs dot get int total cash as an argument, close this. Let's see if that's our problem. Maybe that tells us if this works, that means that the player prefs thing is working, just that our variable total cash isn't. All right. Work for me. It does work. Okay. So, is this something we need to fix right now? Let me think. We know that we now have $900 in total. Got it. Okay. So what does that mean for us? I'm going to quickly go back to our cash manager. That's cash collectibles, cash display. Go back to project. I guess I need to do it from here. I could have done it from Visual Studio, but Oh, because Cash Manager isn't in this scene, it's not having a chance on start to take total cash earned and setting it to total cash. That, I don't think that creates a problem for us. I think that's going to be okay. I think I'm going to leave it as this. If a problem comes up, I am sorry. But I think we should be okay. So even though I wanted to get to the unlockables part of this video's already gone way too long due to unseen things that sort of popped up along the way. So the next video, video 20, we'll work on making it so that certain buttons are unlockable, certain cars are unlockable, and then from there we'll work on cleaning up our game for the last video.